Trolls 2 World Tour single-handedly took down the entire movie industry. Now, if that sounds melodramatic, it probably is, but still, let me explain anyways. Okay, so if you know animation, scratch that, if you've been out in the capitalistic world we live in to any extent, you have seen the movie Trolls, at least a little bit. I don't know if it was through a McDonald's Happy Meal or an advertisement on a billboard or just a commercial on TV or your cell phone. Depending on how you view it, it's a huge disgusting cog in the corporate machine, just another heavily merchandisable movie that could turn a huge profit for the sacrifice of real art, or it's a happy family flick the whole group can get into. It's got JT in it, look at that. Now maybe I'm being too harsh on Trolls, I've personally never seen the movie. I love music, I love animation, but something about it just didn't seem like it was for me. But I'm in the minority. Yeah, it spawned a hit song, but it also became a massive success as a movie. Honestly, to my surprise, and continued on to become, now I guess, a franchise. What can you say? Kids loved it. The musical aspect probably only made it bigger, and probably worse to the poor parents who had to deal with kids singing these songs probably constantly. It's like a Frozen situation. But I don't know, it's got Anna Kendrick in it, I mean, hey. But in the same breath, you know that the second they went back in the lab to manufacture the sequel, well, there had to be some excitement. This sequel film was primed to just make an insane amount of money. Like, there's no way it could possibly fail. The first one was barely a risk in the sense that it would definitely make a profit. It had celebrities attached to it, it's some catchy songs, and Trolls are like a huge toy franchise, you know, don't forget that. But now the studio knew there could be potentially a massive profit. It was a no-brainer, and the race was on. But no one, and I mean no one, could have possibly predicted the hell that would inevitably break loose and the chaos that this one film would cause. Let's get into it. Okay guys, listen. This pandemic is no joke. What started as murmurs and rumors turned into an intense lockdown of essentially the entire world, tragically taking the life of many and changing the world as we know it in every single way imaginable. I'm not going to talk too much about it, okay? Because as I write this, we hear about it every second of every day. We're technically still living through it, but listen. Movie theaters were screwed before this. It was inevitably, sadly, whatever you want to call it, a dying industry. One that was seriously starting to be affected by the competition of streaming services and on-demand. Because I mean, think about it. Why would you go to the movies and pay $50 for popcorn when that same exact movie is literally playing in your living room for like $4? You don't have to leave the house and you don't have to talk to strangers, which is scary. Talking to strangers is scary. But this pandemic literally went from digging the grave with a shovel to getting an entire construction crew. It's bad. When this whole thing happened, there was talk of whether or not they were even going to reopen some movie theaters. But then the unthinkable happened. Something so weird, so out of left field, so new and out of the normal that I cannot fathom what will possibly happen next.
A change made to cope with coronavirus could continue once things return to normal, and at least one movie theater chain isn't happy about it.
AMC just banned a major movie studio.
What does this mean for Universal, for AMC, and for the broader movie industry?
AMC, one of the biggest movie theater chains, dropped Universal, one of the biggest movie studios. Dropped savagely. No more. Cut it off. What? Now, when I first heard this, my reaction was something along the lines of, they can do that? Is that even a thing they can do? Is that censorship? Universal is one of the biggest, most established, and oldest movie studios in the world ever. What are they doing? Why? Well, Trolls 2 is why. I'm not kidding. You see, Trolls 2 recently announced that in the wake of our brave new world, they would not be pushing Trolls 2 back like so many other movies are, but debuting on demand, stream style. And the kicker, this isn't just some pandemic deal. This is how they're going to be doing movies all the time forever until the end of time. Whenever they drop some movies, they will also release them at the same time on streaming. AMC was not happy. According to them, quote, AMC believes with the proposed action to go to the home and theater simultaneously, Universal is breaking the business model and dealings between our two companies. Now, that's kind of pretty transparent corporate talk, but basically what AMC is saying is that Universal's plan to go on streaming and theaters screws up the entire operation. If a movie comes out on streaming instantly, why would you even go to the movies to see it at all? And yeah, there's people that love going to the movies, myself included, but that's a super valid point. There's been so many times that I've actually literally gone to the movies just because it wasn't on Amazon Prime yet. I know people that literally went to like super far away theaters to see Uncut Gems just so they could talk about it with other people when it was in that weird point where it wasn't in all the theaters, but it wasn't on streaming yet. And this is good for the consumer, but it's bad for AMC. The problem though, I think, is how they handled it. Instead of negotiating or threatening or literally anything else, they pulled the trigger, essentially blacklisting one of the biggest studios from all of their theaters forever. Wow. If that seems petty, it's cause it is. Now, look, we obviously don't know everything here. There's a billion things that happen behind thousands of closed doors, behind even more closed doors. Maybe this is a long-standing issue between the two companies. This could be a long-time problem. This could be something that's been brewing on the back burner for years. Maybe it has to do with the people who are running the companies. Maybe it's a personal vendetta. I really don't know. Maybe this blood goes deep, but I can't help but think that this is more than business. This seems weirdly personal. And either way, it's not good. Now you might say, well, it's just one studio. How bad could it be? Get ready. Universal doesn't just make random willy-nilly movies. They own brands, franchises, huge franchises. Bourne Identity, Jurassic Park, Fast and Furious, Illumination Entertainment, that's the Minion movies, you guys, that's Despicable Me, Secret Life of Pets, some of the highest grossing movies and franchises of all time. The movies that people are still going to the movie theaters for. I do not understand this at all. Like, does AMC realize? And I know they do. I'm gonna give them credit. This is obviously their decision. But franchises like the Fast and Furious were some of the last franchises that consistently got people to go to theaters. Big animated family movies like Secret Life of Pets. I mean, these are the ones that I see on the posters when I walk in to watch Avengers 12. I just can't believe it. And this wasn't some slap on the wrist, okay? This was a gunshot that ricocheted off of Universal's beautiful tiger logo and right back at AMC. This was suicide. Universal will hurt from this, okay? And inevitably so. That's a huge profit loss. Insane, actually. But it will ultimately be fine. The cinema, right now, it's dying. It's sad and it's true. They're at this point where they have to fight and determine if they're gonna make it into this new decade or if they're gonna become a titan industry that fell and a concept of the past. I don't want to live in a future where my grandkids are like, what were movie theaters? And you know there'd be some stupid stuff where in like the year 2040, they reopen some movie theaters as like a vintage experience. Like I literally can see that happening in my head. It's gonna be like the vinyl of movies. Oh my God. Look, the future is streaming. Everybody knows that. Everybody's known that for years. There's a reason why Disney acquired all of these massive media companies and started a streaming service. The future in general is the death of most physical everything, while companies like Amazon produce the richest man in the world. It's scary, it's weird, it's change, but it's happening. Which is why I can't believe AMC did this. I can't even begin to understand the negative impact that this will have right now. And all we can do is sit back, buy $70 popcorn, and just watch this dogfight burn. Look, I love AMC. I do. That's why this video hurts to make. That's why this news hurts so bad. They're where I always go when there's a huge movie premiere. They're where I saw the last 2 Avengers movies, which I guess that arguably won't change, technically, LOL. And I think that's a valid point to make, okay? There are still other big franchises and big movie companies that will have movies in AMC theaters. I'm not blind to that. Arguably, like I mentioned, still Disney, which is a huge brand, and it counts for all the Marvel movies. But dude, do you really want all of those like boomer people who were like, they only make superhero movies now. All I see are superhero movies. Do you want them to be right? Sure, Universal had its own share of big brands, but they don't really do superhero movies. They were kind of like a breath of fresh air a little bit. You know, they're the guys that made all the Rock movies, which did really well in movie theaters. I'm gonna die. I guess we still have A24, I guess. As of right now, this looks like the beginning of the end. I mean, they're about to lose a lot of potential profit here. And I understand their move in terms of putting their foot down, but I figured they would start with a threat or a slap on the wrist. I guess the biggest, craziest part about this whole story is just how fast it changed, how quick they were to make such a huge, rash move. Maybe they sensed that this meant Universal would slowly start phasing out movie theaters. It starts with them debuting at the same time, and then eventually, it doesn't really matter when they come out in the theaters, and then maybe not every movie even comes out in the theaters, and before you know it, AMC gets screwed over, Universal goes into the new era with Trolls 8, too many trolls, I don't know what they're going to be doing in a couple of years. It does seem like a very disproportionate situation. And maybe this is the biggest way that AMC could say, screw you, I'm not going down without a fight. Either you respect me or you don't get my business, baby. That's what I do. And then they'd put on sunglasses or something. They're a brand. I don't know how they do that. And in a way, I kind of respect them for that. I guess I could see that angle. But it's just insane that all of this crazy news happened. All because of Trolls 2 World Tour. Who knew this film would have just screwed over so much in the film industry? And look, this was kind of inevitable. And the sad truth is, Trolls 2 will do fine. It's already doing insanely well on streaming. Like, there's articles written about it. This isn't some poor Onward situation, okay? Trolls 2 ran full stead into the apocalypse and looks like it's winning. At the end of the day, the only one who will really be suffering, the one who will take the biggest hit, will be the movie industry, who's already hurting really bad right now. And again, they have my full sympathy. I love AMC, I love going to the movies, I love that whole experience. I don't want it to go away. I'm sure a lot of people out there listening agree. I don't want to wake up in a world where I can't go to the movies with my friends. That's sad. But watching as a consumer, these business decisions are kind of insane, and I'm scared for them. I'm really scared. And I know that other theaters are already on board, and it will be interesting to see what other movie theaters follow suit with this. I don't know that many other huge movie theater companies. AMC is one of the biggest, if not the biggest. So I guess, like with everything else, we're gonna have to wait and see, but right now, it's just this beautiful chaos playing out in front of us while the entire world burns behind us. It's a weird time. And I know this video seems bleak, because it is, but there's a chance that they could fix this. I mean, I hope. I really don't know. Maybe they'll renegotiate. I don't know if they even can at this point. This is like press news. This is finalized information. And the news doesn't dictate fact. There was like a whole period of time where Spider-Man was definitely out of the MCU and back with Sony, and then a few weeks later, no, he wasn't. But even if they eventually patch things up and figure out a middle ground, it's gonna be forever different. And cinemas are still kind of screwed over in the long run, unless they figure out how to change. I don't know, man. The world's gone crazy. My point with this whole video is that Trolls 2 is just the weird cinematic climactic point for this entire screwed up story. It's the thing that pushed them over the edge. It could have been any movie, but at the end of the day, it was this one. And it makes sense that it was Trolls 2. Like I mentioned in the beginning, this movie was set to make a ton of money. I'm sure when this pandemic happened, Universal sat down in their boardrooms or Zoom calls or whatever and basically said, look, we have Trolls 2 here. This is inevitably going to make us a ton of money. Why wait? Why push that back? It could make just as much money on streaming. We're going to throw it on there now. And you can't say this isn't the outlier. There's been tons of movies that have just flat out pushed back their dates. Now, when I first saw that, I was like, okay, well, they just know they're not going to make as much money if they don't go to theaters too. But after this news and upon further reflection, I realized they probably pushed them back because they want to have a good reputation with the theater companies. They have a back and forth. It's a codependent business. Movies depend on theaters, theaters depend on movies. The problem is when the movie stops depending on the theater's not happy. The symbiotic relationship isn't so symbiotic anymore. And that's what we saw happen. I don't know if they can fix it. I hope they can. I hope this isn't the end for anything. I don't want to sound melodramatic. I kind of want to end on a hopeful note. People will figure it out, right? Just like the movie rental stores, right? Come on, guys. At the end of the day, I don't know, stream Trolls 2, or don't, protest. Just promise me that if you are a fan of movie theaters, when this whole thing wraps up and this is over, go with your girlfriend, go with your boyfriend, go with your fake friends. Just go and see a movie, you know? They definitely need it right now. Or if you hate movie theaters too as an industry, and just view them as another huge capitalistic evil conglomerate, stopping us from entering the socialistic future that we all really need for this country, well hey, protest them too. I love a good protest. Like I said, I'm just eating my popcorn watching the world burn here, talking into a microphone. Like a crazy person. I guess I'll end this whole video by just asking you guys, how do you feel about this? What do you think? Do you think that this is really the beginning of the end? Do you think this is the right or wrong decision on anybody's part? I want to get a good discussion going. This is an interesting topic. Let us know in those comments down below or tweet to us at Roundtable Vids or me at It's Retro Nemo. As always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the Roundtable for more incredible cartoon content. Guys, I'm Nemo. This is a weird Trolls 2 video, and I will see you next time. Peace.